Welcome to the Plan B CRNA podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Jones, and I'm so excited that you're here. The Plan B CRNA podcast is the only show made specifically for nurse anesthetists who are exploring options outside of their traditional career paths. This is the place to expand your mind and your goals as we uncover new ways to produce side income together. The mindset that we bring to any situation plays a key part in overcoming challenges and really enjoying our unique paths in life. On Thoughtful Thursdays, I like to explore emotional topics that are relevant to CRNAs and other providers. I think of this as my therapy, and I hope you learn some tips and tricks that you can use along your own journey. This episode is brought to you by On-Call Capital. On-Call Capital is dedicated to educating CRNAs and other healthcare providers about investing outside of the traditional stock market. On-Call Capital also provides opportunities for you, yes you, to create passive income and generational wealth while also lowering your taxable income through investments in the apartment and alternative investment spaces. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, make sure you do that right now so that you don't miss an episode. Thanks so much for joining me today, and now on with the show. Welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays on the Plan B CRNA podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Jones, and as always, I like to start these shows off with a quote that gets me thinking. Dale Carnegie once said, "When dealing with people, remember you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion." I spoke with my mom this morning, which happens to be the 1-year anniversary of her kidney transplant. And I often use the phrase relentlessly positive to describe her demeanor, and that comes from a place for her of deep gratitude. And while she has expressed tons of gratitude for her new kidney over the last year, today was, well, let's just say it was a little bit different. Yes, the gratitude was still there, but she was much more tearful. You see, today was the first day since her surgery that she finally felt comfortable enough to explore some of her more complex emotions surrounding the transplant. She felt sadness for the death of a 47-year-old man, and she grieved for his family. She felt inspired that this same man had also donated several organs so that others could live. And she acknowledged her own fear in the past year that allowing herself to feel these types of emotions would somehow damage her new kidney or hinder her ability to physically heal. We're taught to identify our emotions so that we can better manage them. But like the most beautiful paintings have layers of paint that provide complexity and depth, so too are our emotions often layered on top of each other, allowing us to feel multiple things with varying degrees of intensity. This means that our feelings have highly variable appearances and compositions. So I come back to our quote from Dale Carnegie. I think he understood some of this when he wrote his national bestseller, How to Win Friends and Influence People, back in 1936. The core idea of the book is that you can change other people's behavior simply by changing your own, teaching you principles to help you better understand people and improve your relationships. Now, there are plenty of criticisms of the book, claiming that it is insincere and somewhat manipulative in nature. But I think that a big reason for the book's success is because it recognized the need to sympathize and empathize with the people around us. And the first step to being able to recognize and respect the emotions of others is to master our own. How can we do that? Well, I found 6 steps that may help you. Number 1, turn towards your emotions with acceptance. Once you become aware of an emotion that you're feeling, notice where it is in your body. It could be a stomach ache, a tightening of your throat, tension somewhere, or maybe your heart is just pounding. Don't ignore it or push it away, but sit with it and try to listen. Number 2, identify and label the emotions. Instead of saying, "I am angry," say, "This is anger," or "This is anxiety." This allows you to acknowledge the emotion's presence while remaining somewhat detached from it, and it takes away some of the pain from what you are feeling. Number 3, accept your emotions. Once you've identified a particular emotion, don't deny it. Think of a friend or loved one who might be having a hard time themselves. What would you say to them? Bring that perspective to your own thoughts about yourself, showing yourself kindness and compassion. This can help you to create a space of awareness and even curiosity as you begin to open yourself up. Number 4, realize the impermanence of your emotions. This is personally a big one for me. Allow yourself to witness and observe your emotions with attention and patience. By doing so, you'll see that emotions arise and live with you, within you for a time, and then they morph or disappear completely. Number 5, inquire and investigate. After you've calmed down, take a moment to explore what happened. You'll need to identify what triggered you and why. What were your expectations of the situation? Is there a pattern forming? It's important to be inquisitive in order to gain insight into what you're actually experiencing. And finally, number 6, let go of the need to control your feelings. That is particularly hard for those of us in healthcare. The key to mindfully handling your complex emotions is to let go of your need to control them. Be open to the outcome and what unfolds from it. And make no mistake, this takes time and requires patience and kindness towards yourself. Now, this process looks different for all of us, depending on our own experiences and needs. But when we open ourselves up honestly, we can learn and grow. If my mom can recognize that life is fragile and beautiful and fleeting and still strive to be better emotionally, then I know any of us can do it too. That's what I've got for you for today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure you hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. I'd love to hear what you thought of the show today. So leave that in your review of the show if you would. And if you're interested in passive income opportunities with tax advantage real estate, visit my website at www.oncallinvestments.com or reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Until next time, be safe and take care of each other out there. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Plan B CRNA podcast. If you haven't already subscribed and reviewed the show, I'd be honored if you took the extra time. It really helps to expand our reach and get the word out about the show. If you're a CRNA who is interested in sharing your story on our podcast, I'd love to have you. Please email me at bobby@oncallinvestments.com for more information. This episode was brought to you by OnCall Capital. They are dedicated to helping providers like you develop passive income and generational wealth through investments in the apartment and alternative investment spaces. Feel free to check out their website at www.oncallinvestments.com and subscribe to their free educational email series. You can find OnCall Capital on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also check out our YouTube page, where you'll find all of the show episodes along with other educational videos. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.